So yesterday we had the Minnesota Timberwolves and Indiana Pacers go on the road in Game 7 and as major underdogs and win their respective series. So now we have a conference finals of Mavericks Timberwolves and Celtics Pacers. And I think it's wild to think about like just last year, the Mavericks missed the play-in, the Timberwolves were the 8 seed, a play-in team too. Celtics made the conference finals, they were also the 1 seed. Oh no, they weren't. They were the 2, right? Yeah, 2 seed, I'm pretty. And then the Indiana Pacers were also missed a play, and now they're all in the conference finals, which is like incredible turnaround for every team. So we'll talk about every team, how they got there, and we'll make predictions, or I'll make predictions for the rest of this thing. So Mavericks, they beat the Clippers, who were beat up. They have Kawhi Leonard, whatever. Then they go and take down the really talented Thunder team. It's kind of an easier run. I don't want to say any easier run. I don't want to make fun of that. But since like whatever the Gafford trades and the trade deadline, they've had one of the best records in the NBA, and they really just improved their bigs. Like what did they get? Gafford, and who else did they get that deadline? I forgot. I mean Gafford. Oh, PJ Washington. They got Gafford, PJ Washington. They improved their size. They improved their rim running. PJ Washington was so good at the beginning of that Thunder series too. And this team, honestly, the Mavs Wolves series is kind of more of a coin flip. I think the series goes 7 at least. Then we got the Timberwolves, who they had the Rudy Gobert trade. They loaded up a couple of years ago. It didn't work last year. This year, it's obviously paid off. And I was sitting down. This was more during the Sun series, and I was like, what do the Timberwolves need to actually be a championship contender? It was like, and I was like, do they need a lead? I was like, kind of just thinking, like they have their lead guard. They have a great 3-and-D wing in Jaden McDaniels. They got the Twin Towers, which nobody really has, and then they have obviously a superstar in Anthony Edwards, and they have really good big depth or bench depth, and they have really good defense. And I'm like, this team is already built to win a championship, and then they go and they sweep the shit out of the Suns, and they also go and beat the defending champions in 7, and they held them to 80 points one game and 70 points. Their defense is so good. Celtics, I honestly, I don't even know if I've watched a single game of the Celtics this postseason. Like they just swamped the Heat. They they killed the Cavs. I mean, KCP is gonna be only out for 2 games. They're just running through everybody. I they'll probably continue to do that with Indiana. Indiana beat a Giannis and Dameless Bucks team, and then they beat a Knicks team that was super injured as well. But I have to give them so much credit because they make the Pascal Siakam trade, and he's played so well this postseason, and they're in the conference finals right now. And they're such a young team. Neesmith is so still super young. Tyrese Halliburton's like what 23, 24. They have Siakam's a little older, but he's not even 30 yet. Nemhard has played so well, and I mean, it's an incredible run for the Pacers. So for predictions, at least for now, I have the Minnesota Timberwolves over the Dallas Mavericks in 7. This could go anyway. I don't know who's gonna win this series. It really don't. It really depends on Luka's health. If Luka's not healthy, the young Thunder weren't able to take advantage of it. But Minnesota, they're not a young team. They gotta get like the what's the word? Placed as like a young team. The note is not even. I don't think a word. I just made up a word. So you know, they have Anthony Edwards is young. They're led by a young superstar, but Gobert has been in the league for 11 years. Mike Conley for 16 years. Carl Anthony Towns for 8 years, 9 years. Who else is on this team? McDaniels has been here for a little bit. He's still pretty young. And they have Nikhil Alexander Walker's like a pretty good veteran on the bench. Same as Kyle Anderson and Monte Morris, Nas Reed. So they do have a lot of young guys, but they're not a young team. They're definitely more prepared for the playoffs. So Matt the Wolves in 7. And then this Celtics Pacers team is like matchup is like the Celtics have always played shit for one game. They did it versus the Cavs, they did it versus the Heat. So I'll go Celtics in 5, but Pacers are just not there yet. The Celtics are. And then in the NBA Finals, I think the Celtics beat the Wolves in 7 because I'd only thought the one team that really could beat Boston is Denver. And seeing Minnesota's postseason, I honestly think this is probably the second best team in the NBA or second best team fit to beat the Celtics. And you know, I think what happens is something similar in the Denver series where Minnesota comes out, their defense kind of like they stun the Celtics a little. They take maybe game 1 or game 2 or something at home, but they just got to play better at home. They can't do what they did and drop game 3 and game 4 because if this series gets 7, I think Boston wins at one point, and that's what I have. But like this postseason has been amazing so far. Like we had two game sevens in there. We had a third game seven, and just like amazing series. Like what else was a really good series? Like New Orleans, Thunder Mavericks was a really good series. Same with Knicks 76ers was a great series. We just had some great series, great postseason so far. Thank you guys for watching. Join the Discord server. See ya.